Welcome back, guys, in the live stream chat. If you're joining us right now, thank you for sticking around. This is part 2. If you haven't seen part 1 or side A, you can go ahead and check it out on Paul's channel. This is, of course, to the people who are watching us on YouTube. Paul's Hardware. Go ahead and check it out. It was a good half of the show.
It was. Yes. Fun.
And, of course, this one will be invariably better, but that's okay.
I can't
win them all, Paul. It's all right. Let's start off with a couple announcements. Again, just spamming the shirts thing and our merch. Paul has glasses now. He's got some new shirts coming to his store.
Talking about me first?
We're going to talk about you first.
That's so kind of you, Kyle.
Ladies first, brother. That's kind of a contradiction there.
I'm no lady.
Woo! So he's got some glasses. Go ahead and get some. Pick up some English pub glasses.
They're lovely.
They are very nice with his new logo on them, nonetheless.
And since we're talking about me, I have new shirts coming next week too.
They're
not available right now, but they'll be very soon.
Indeed.
That's a thumb screw. If you can't, everyone should be able to tell that, right? But,
I'll be sad for anyone who doesn't know what that is.
Blue, black, and gray.
Yes.
Will be coming soon. Here's Kyle's store, though.
And that's my store. New and improved CPU cooler shirt. It's actually the revision 2.0 model. You get a newly refined color on the CPU, gold connectors on the pins, with a nice color there. They're fancy. Sorry for anyone who bought the first one. It's no longer as good.
Yours are inferior.
Yours are now inferior. No, they're still perfectly good. I wear mine all the time. I don't even have the new one. But if you guys are going to buy a shirt, do it now on the stream. I get an instant notification on my email, and I will give you a personal Johnson shout-out for anyone who buys a shirt right now during the stream. It doesn't have to be the CPU cooler shirt. It can be any shirt that's on the site.
I need to do that email thing. That's brilliant.
It's amazing. It's amazing. So go ahead and eat that shit up. But we've got a good show, rest of the show for you guys today. Let's just jump right into it. I'm going to start off with my first story, which of course is tech news, just continuing off where Paul left off. And since Paul took all the good stories,
I took one story today.
He took all the good ones.
My story about the Fury. The Fury. If you guys are interested in Fury or Fury X news, Kyle, you have some Fury X stuff too, don't you? I don't know, something like that.
No, I took it out.
That's all I have the show.
I took it out because you covered it all.
That's all the interesting things.
Right.
All right.
So
what do we have from Samsung?
On with my first story, which is the Samsung 850 Pro and Evo is now going to be offered in 2 terabyte SSDs in the 2.5-inch form factor.
Damn.
Really popular SSDs. Samsung has been killing it in the NAND flash market, particularly with their SSDs.
And they have 3D NAND, which is fancy.
Yeah, with that 3D NAND shit. Epic stuff, and now you can actually get one of them, or you will be able to get one of them in 2 terabyte capacities, which is definitely an indication of the SSD market and how it's moving forward so quickly, just at an exponential rate. It's starting to become more and more competitive with mechanical drives, and I think we were talking about last week that there was some analysis that said in a year or so, give or take, SSDs are going to be more economical of a purchase than mechanical drives, which is just crazy because when I first got my Newegg, I mean, SSDs were just on the rise and started to become more mainstream. And I think there was a report of a 32 gigabyte SSD that retailed for $1,500 at one point. Just insane. And
that's like those first 15-inch LCDs that used to be like $2 or $3 grand or something like that, you know.
Any new technology, like Blu-ray players, used to be $300, and now you can get one for $50. You know, it's just crazy. So, granted, that being said, these still aren't going to be cheap because they're still 2 terabytes, and that's not really for the faint of heart or anything. It's not a budget SSD by any means. So you can get the 850 Evo for about $800 USD, and the Pro version for about $1,000. So still a hefty premium for that extra capacity, but it's just that price. We're going to see that price per gig just continue to free fall. The price of NAND is in a free fall right now.
I also noticed they actually have a new controller, so it's an MHX controller.
Yes, over the MEX.
The Evo.
Over the MEX.
Actually, they use the same controller, MHX, for both of them.
They both do. And they have about the same read and write speeds as well as their 1 terabyte predecessors. Mm-hmm. So the new controller doesn't necessarily mean faster speeds, but who knows, it could mean better power consumption or something like that, lower heat. And you're going to be seeing 540 and 520 read versus write respectively megabytes per second on the 850 Evo, and slightly faster speeds of 550 and 520 on the 850 Pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
And 850 Evo traditionally is Samsung's 3 bits per cell drive, so every cell
Yes.
they're storing 3 bits in. So it's got a different type of NAND than the 850 Pro.
Right.
And that's why the durability is significantly different than these with... You can read that. That's your notes.
So basically, I mean, that's why you're getting a 5-year warranty on the 850 Evo, but you're getting a 10-year warranty on the 850 Pro, and that's basically because, just like Paul said, the difference in NAND on the 850 Pro actually allows it to be more have more write cycles. Essentially, you get better endurance and you get slightly better performance as well, just because they're going 3D vertical NAND and all that good stuff. Which basically increases all those things, respectively.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, stay tuned for keep your eyes on 2 terabyte SSDs. I mean, what's going to happen when that day comes when SSDs are a cheaper value than mechanicals? Are they just gone?
Are mechanical drives gone?
Right. I mean,
you can
essentially
you can look at any. Mechanical spinning hard drives have been around for a while. And it's hard to say, like, you can look at the old mechanical spinning hard drives, like the 5¼ inch ones, for example, the massive ones you used to see. I mean, those are all gone now.
Yeah.
And it was only a matter of time before that technology got replaced entirely. It had an end of a lifespan. There was only a certain amount of speed they could get with spinning media, and with how much areal density they could pack onto those platters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to when everything's SSD, because it means when I do build videos and I say, here's a build I've put together, people can't say, like, why did you put an SSD in a budget build?
They just did that, I think, didn't they?
They just did that for the
video.
No, the video I did yesterday, I got some
flack.
I got some pushback on, but I'm always like, I gotta have an SSD. I can't not have an SSD anymore.
Yeah.
Once you've worked with that.
Yeah,
But,
I completely agree with you.
But Can I do a quick aside?
Yeah, go for it.
If we may.
Handle it.
One was, we never said congratulations to Kyle for reaching 100,000 subscribers, at least on this half of the show.
Well, it'd be weird if I congratulated myself.
Well, that's why I wanted to bring it up. Kyle, congratulations for hitting 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Thank you very much.
If you guys are new subscribers to Kyle, you should keep watching his videos.
Yes.
They're good.
Yeah.
You can watch my videos too. They're okay.
They're also very good.
If you want to.
Well, thank you.
The other thing is that we didn't do a beer check on your half of the show.
That's right.
I just wanted to show off
You're drinking the same one?
Mine real quick, because it's a big one, is a Fin du Monde. This is from Unibrow Brewery in Canada. It's 9% alcohol, in case you're wondering, and this is a golden ale triple. And I really enjoy it. Unibrow has several different beers that I really enjoy.
Nice.
And Kyle is drinking...
I've got the Desperado.
The Desperado.
India Pale Ale. 6.5%, so...
You're not done with that?
No, actually. I've been taking it easy.
You have been taking it easy.
Yeah, I've learned my
lesson. Because last week you drank too much.
I did.
I brought Kyle...
I kept calling NVIDIA AMD.
I brought Kyle 2 IPAs today, and I was like, you can have one on the first half of the show and one on the second half of the show.
I was like, Paul's trying to sabotage me. I see what's going on here.
We had a lot of positive feedback from being drunk. Apparently.
You guys are just enablers. Shame on all of you.
It was 100,000 subs, 100,000 subscribers on YouTube is what Kyle has.
Yes.
Our Twitch channels we've not invested nearly as much time in, so they're still on the lower end. But hey, we do have encoding options. That's not thanks to anything that we have done, but that's thanks to Twitch.
Being afraid of YouTube.
Being afraid of YouTube.
And just giving that option
that's nice
to
have, though. I'm glad that we have that.
Yeah.
All right. So, sorry, Kyle. Moving back to tech news.
Yeah, moving on. The next story I want to talk about is Amazon Prime Day. So, in case you didn't know, Amazon is having this day-long extravaganza sale that's supposed to basically have better deals than any Black Friday we've ever seen.
More. It doesn't say better. It says more. More deals.
More deals.
At least the article here.
Sorry, more deals. But I mean, Amazon's already a pretty affordable source of online shopping, so I would imagine there's probably some good deals there.
Should I play this video? What's the video?
I have no idea. I didn't even watch it, but you can play it just as a visual aid.
Yeah.
Gotta love aids. So the day is July 15th. So mark it on your calendars, but only bother marking it on your calendar if you're an Amazon Prime member, because that's the only demographic that these deals will be open to.
Only Amazon Prime?
Only Amazon Prime members will be able to participate in Prime Day. Do you have Prime, right?
Yeah, I have no idea what this article is. Speaking of...
The video?
Something I've learned about Prime, for any of you guys who are on Prime or maybe not on Prime but know somebody on Prime, you can share Prime. So my wife and I, for example, share the Prime membership.
Okay.
I forget how many people you can share it with. You have to be in the same household, I believe.
Okay.
And have the same address. But you can share that.
Okay.
And at the time I was like, that's awesome, because we kept trying to be like, let's sign into my wife's account so we can, like, you know, view the Amazon Instant Watch. Or, like, I would ask to place an order under her account so that I could get the free 2-day shipping or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, just...
Wait, so you can log into your own Amazon account and it would still link to her Prime membership?
Yeah, so...
Okay.
So, do you have Prime?
Yes.
Does Heather have Prime?
No.
So Heather could attach herself to your Prime membership.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
Nice. So then you and your spouse or significant other or your friend or family member can both enjoy it as long as one of you has a Prime membership. Basically, they're also going to be doing these lightning deals. A lot of sites do lightning deals where they have a product that's on sale for a very limited period of time.
And you can never get lightning cheap these days. It's always so overpriced.
Yes, lightning is the market, lightning market. I have nothing. I have nothing to go on that.
I'm sorry.
They're not selling lightning. Basically, they're just really short deals. They're going to be happening every 10 minutes, apparently. That's like the fastest lightning deal I've ever seen. Every 10 minutes. Maybe there's sites that do it shorter, but I think that's also like a psychological thing. Like every 10 minutes, how many things am I going to miss if I'm not on there mashing F5 every minute of the day, right? It's like a good tactic. Like, let's make them every 10 minutes. People will freak out. Because I think the whole point of online shopping and why we do it, especially on days like Black Friday or Cyber Monday, is to avoid the stress, is to avoid the panic that goes into going to like the brick and mortar stores. And I think Amazon's done a good job with these lightning deals to really instill a certain amount of urgency.
So I've like barely to never done Black Friday shopping. Like I just never. It's like I don't care that much. About my family members apparently. No, I don't. I don't want to go and fight with crowds. Like I hate that. I agree. Really, really hate that. But I've had fun with some of the online sales and stuff in the past couple of years. Like
indeed,
Amazon. I mean, granted, they're huge, but they use that to invest in, like, what's the most effective way that we can lay this website out to, like, engage people and get them to be like, no, I need to come back in 5 minutes for this or whatever. And, like, the lightning sales are just, like...
It's like crack.
Yeah, it's so much like that. But at the same time, I feel like... I ordered a bunch of stuff Black Friday last year, just in the comfort of my own home, and I feel like I got some really good deals.
Yeah.
And I feel like I benefited from that. So if they can keep that balance between them still making profit, keeping people on the site, selling stuff, and people feeling like they had a good experience out of it, I mean, that's wins all around. Yeah. But I'll probably jump on for this little sale next week and
take a peek.
Check it out. This will be, so you said the 15th.
15th is a Wednesday.
So we'll hopefully remind you guys again next week.
Yeah.
On our live show to buy stuff.
And I think it starts right at midnight too, so.
And you can use either of our affiliate codes.
That's very true.
And that would help us out as well.
Absolutely.
You should make sure, though, that you place equal orders of the same dollar amount with both of our affiliate codes.
Yeah, we expect you to get it exactly right.
Must be accurate.
So, thanks Amazon for the opportunity for all of us Prime users. Moving on, we've got a crazy story that seems straight out of an action movie or a sci-fi movie. Maybe not sci-fi, but
I like action
definitely a movie of the future. Gundam Wing is now real, apparently.
Yeah.
It's a real thing. Big robots fighting each other to the death is going to be a thing. It all started when these two American dudes quit their jobs to build giant robots because they're like, hey, this is awesome.
This is a giant robot.
It's a giant robot.
This is not a video game or something that was rendered. That is
This isn't Mech Warrior.
Real giant robot mech.
Or what's the other one? Hawken. This isn't Hawken. These aren't screen grabs from the next Hawken. These are just two dudes from America who built a robot.
3 dudes right there.
There's a third dude sometimes.
I don't know what the third dude does.
He's just there for eye candy. But they built the robot, and then they also made a video and sent it to Japan, challenging them to a giant robot duel. This is like the craziest thing I've ever heard. If you've ever seen the movie Real Steel with Hugh Jackman,
I love that.
I mean, it's like straight out of that. And the actual group that they challenged in Japan is Sumidabashi Heavy Industry.
You covered this on a Yoked episode
years ago. Yeah.
Which I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
Kyle mentioned this to me. I was like, I remember that. I remember you saying, Sumidabashi Heavy Industry.
Yeah. If you go on Newegg and you look at Yoked number 12, it's like the first story that I talk about. Like, I know it because I remember that story like the back of my hand. And when I read this article, I was like, that's the same robot. They challenged the same robot that we were talking about years ago. It's by this guy named Kurata, and he actually named the robot after him. So Kurata, the owner, and Kurata, the robot. And he has accepted the challenge. He got a kick out of it and said, let's crush these American fools. And he actually had some fun fighting words against the American team. Okay. He basically said, come on, guys, just make it cooler. You guys got to make it cooler. Just building something huge and sticking guns on it, it's super American.
Oh, he's already talking trash.
Shots fired.
Hey.
And he said, he wrapped it up with saying, yeah, we'll be there. I want to punch them to scrap and knock them out to do it. So what he was basically talking about there, what he means by that is he's intending to strategize by using melee combat to take down the American robot. Because right now, if you look at the American robot, it's pretty much just got this massive paintball gun on it.
So this is the other one, right?
It's all firearms.
This is the competitor?
Yeah, that's the
one from Japan.
Yes.
So here we can do a comparison, right? All right. So we have
American muscle right here.
This is more of like a John Deere color scheme. I'd say we're going with here.
It's got a gun rack on the back.
It does have a gun rack on the back. But you got the protective cage for the driver up front. You got multiple guns, two independent arms. You got some tracks there on the bottom.
Yeah.
And then here, I don't know.
It looks a lot.
It looks taller.
Actually, I don't think it is.
But it's not as.
It's
tall?
actually half the weight as the American one.
Really?
Yes, half.
So maybe it's more agile, right?
It might be more agile. Yeah. So I think
it's like a samurai.
Yes. Although it doesn't have a sword, that'd be cool though.
That would be cool.
So let me just give you a quick rundown of what each of these robots have in their arsenal.
All right.
So basically, you get 8,000 pounds on the Kurata, or the Japanese robot. It's 12 feet high. It's made of metal mostly, and it wields a BB Gatling gun. It's got like an airsoft. I don't know if the BBs are metallic or plastic. Okay. Metal would F someone up, but hopefully they're plastic. Unless, for the sake of the contest, the competition, the duel, they're going to swap it out for some metallic ones. That would really mess something up. Yeah. But they fire at 6,000 rounds per minute. These little these plastic BBs, which is pretty impressive. The American robot, on the other hand, is twice the weight. All right, so it's around 16,000 pounds, which is nuts, and it's got a giant paintball gun cannon attached to its arm that shoots paintballs at 120 miles an hour.
Okay, that would hurt, but they need to swap those paintballs out with something else
for like metal
to go against the Kurata. Like,
because what is it? It's just going to get it messy.
Yeah, it's like splatter some. I mean, unless they can really strategically aim at like the visual, like
maybe that could be part of it.
Something, but like
the pilot's cockpit.
That'd be my question about this battle. Is like obviously they've both invested a lot of money in building these mechs.
Oh yeah.
And, like, are they really just going to go full-on, all-out, like, battle against each other to, like, destroy, like, with actual projectiles and that kind of thing? Or are they, like...
Right.
Which I hope they do. I really want to see that.
Yes, there's no other way to do it. There's no other way to do it. They need to be crushed. Yeah. One of them has to be crushed by the end of it, if not both of them. But this also brings up a good... kind of a fun idea. Like, could this spark some kind of giant robot fighting league?
I hope it does.
I so hope it does.
I think we need that.
That would be one sport that I would actually be
Wasn't Grant Imahara formerly from Mythbusters? I thought they were bringing back the BattleBots. Wasn't that happening?
They have brought it back. I think
they're just not advertising it well enough because I haven't heard anything about it.
Jessica Chobot from The Nerdist, the host, she's one of the judges on the new BattleBots, I think.
Are they in production right now, or have they actually broadcast them? Because I haven't seen any of that. And BattleBots would be sweet.
I honestly don't have TV, so I wouldn't know.
If you are a marketing executive for BattleBots, you're not doing a good job.
They need to be bigger.
Because I don't know where it's happening or anything like that.
Yeah.
You need to expand. The other thing I want to mention here is that this is very positive and very necessary for humanity just in general. because this is how we build up to building the Jaegers, which will eventually help us fight against the Godzilla-like creatures that come in to attack us, as predicted in the epic movie Pacific Rim.
Is that what they call them? Jaegers?
The Jaegers are the
robots?
The robots that the humans make.
Oh, okay.
To fight against the Godzilla creatures. Yeah.
I was thinking
and that's
the
coming.
liquor.
That's coming. So we need this.
Yeah.
To like help create, and the competition is there to help, competition always helps bring out the best in people.
Yes.
We need that there so that we get the best builders of large mechanical destructoid robots to fight each other.
I would hope for nothing less.
Yeah. So
a bloodbath.
It's really a public service that these people are doing.
Metal bath.
But hey, I really hope that they make a video of this, or they got to do something. They need. This should be on pay-per-view.
Yes, it
this
should.
Would be so.
This is bigger than Pacquiao versus
Yeah,
whoever.
the freaking Pacquiao-Mayweather fight, which we could discuss because there was news about, but who cares about that?
Yeah.
That was such a disappointment. This would be so much cooler to watch on pay-per-view.
Right.
Freaking big-ass robots, but they'd have to go. They really have to
get into it.
Yeah.
Like they have to
They can't be holding back because it will cost so much to repair or whatever.
It can't be like fencing where it's like they point.
Yeah.
At one part of you, like, oh, that's a point. Oh, he got a point. No, it's got to be like literally like rip him in half with your giant metal claw.
Oh yes.
And smash his head against the.
I've also point 7 pointed out that the Godzilla creatures I was referring to are called kaiju, which is a Japanese word. Yes.
Kaiju.
I've only seen Pacific Rim 1.5 times, so I'll admit that at the beginning of that statement, I was even digging to remember. Yes, it's called Pacific Rim. Thank God.
What did you call it? You called them Jaegers.
They're called no.
The Jaegers are the robots.
I was right about Jaegers. I was right about Pacific Rim, but the Godzilla creatures are kaiju.
Kaiju.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool.
Thank you for the correction, though.
Yes. So, and by the way, the duel is slated to place in June of next year. So about a year from now.
A year.
Because right now they're not combat ready. The robots are just kind of like for show as a hobby.
No. I mean, if they're delaying a year so they can outfit them with, like, I want a chainsaw.
Yeah.
I want a chainsaw melee arm on one of them.
What would you want to see on your death robot, on your mega robot? I'm curious to know. A chainsaw would be really good.
Something more than paintballs and airsoft. That's for sure. That's for damn sure.
Like a Nerf gun.
Nerf guns.
Maybe
we need chainsaws.
Just a big. I'd want to see just a massive
this
sword.
Could revitalize cable.
I just want to see a
cable
big
television.
Ass bladed sword. All right. So moving on, we're going on to this new segment that I kind of just came up with today. It's called the Rumor Mill.
Rumors.
Where we talk about rumors, kind of like Paul's thing with conspiracy theories, but they're rumors and they're not as conspiracy-ish.
Conspiratorial. I think that's
conspiratorious.
I think that's the adjective you were looking for there.
Is that a real word?
Conspiratorial.
Conspiratorial.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just sounds
I think.
Sounds so made up.
All right.
Okay, so I'm just going to blow through these really quick because we still got a lot to go. But Windows 10, there will be a finalized build by this Friday.
RTM, that's released to market.
Yes. So we've been seeing a lot of different Windows 10 builds lately. There's actually been like 3 in like the last week or so. But Microsoft is going to have to start nailing that down because the OEMs need to get a finished build so that they can start installing it on all of their pre-built systems that they want to get out in time for their launch and whatnot.
Yeah, there'll still be patches and updates.
Updates, and that'll be.
They need a working. Need a working base version of the operating system in order to start creating integrated systems that can just ship out with that.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? You continue.
Okay.
Say your notes first.
So also participants in the Windows Insiders Club, which I believe are the beta testers of Windows 10.
Insiders, yeah.
They are not going to see a finished build until launch day, which is June 29th. And what we can be sure of in the finished build is that the start menu is going to be there.
Yeah, it's right
So if you weren't too privy or a big fan of Windows 8 or 8.1, and you didn't install something like Classic Shell or third-party software.
If you avoided the Metro UI as much as you possibly could.
Yes, you'll be happy to know that the Start menu is back with Windows 10. It's just going to be a lot easier to navigate around for all of us old-school users. The Start screen, who everyone hates and no one cares about, still exists. But hold on. It's going to be turned off for desktop users, so you won't have to deal with it.
It's optional, which makes so much more sense.
Yes.
For people who that UI doesn't make sense for.
Everything should be an option.
You can disable it.
Yeah.
And it's built into the operating system.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the other thing you mentioned, so there was an article I was going to talk about, but I didn't, so I want to mention it really quickly. Windows Insiders, there was some recent updates to the user agreement. So if you're a Windows Insider and you've been testing Windows 10, you're supposed to get Windows 10 for free, the final version.
Even if you don't have a Windows 7.
Yeah, even if you're not upgrading from a prior version or something like that.
Yeah.
So the article I was reading was kind of trying to be like the Windows Insiders aren't really getting Windows 10, but the basic. So to boil it down was, if you're Windows Insiders and you're doing the Windows 10 preview, you're part of the development process, which means you're doing like debugging and reporting and that kind of thing. If you want to continue using Windows 10 as a Windows Insider, you can, and you can get the full operating system for free, but you'll continue to be enrolled in that program.
Okay.
That's all.
So you just have to be Microsoft's bitch.
Yes, you just have to continue along in the debugging and that kind of process, which for a lot of people is pretty minimal anyway. I mean, it's just like if you encounter some egregious error or something, then you can report it to them or something like that.
It's like being on the neighborhood watch.
Yeah.
You're not really doing a bunch of work. You're just like, oh, if you see someone getting robbed, you just call someone.
Yeah. So you're not having it taken away from you, but you're still going to be on the hook for providing Microsoft your feedback as far as your user experience and that kind of thing.
Gotcha. All right. Moving on to the next rumor. This might be more confirmed than rumor at this point. It kind of really depends. But Intel to launch Skylake on August 5th of this month.
5th?
Of this year, I'm sorry. Yeah, August 5th of this month. That makes so much sense, Kyle.
August 5th of this month.
Words. I don't even. And Paul was talking about this recently in his half of the show. And it's, I don't know, I read actually 2 different articles, and one of them said it's rumored, and the other site said it's fact. The site that said it was fact was, I think, WCCF Tech, and I feel like the other one was Maximum PC, and I feel like they usually fact check a little bit more than WCCF Tech does. I don't know, from my experience, from what I hear. But who's to say, really, until that date comes.
But who knows?
But who knows, is what I'm saying, because it's a rumor mill. Frickin' rumor mill, so it's a rumor. We're just going to go with that. So, Skylake. What's the big deal with Skylake? Well, as many of you know, it's going to be the Core i5, I guess the more noticeable CPUs, the unlocked SKUs that we're really interested to see. It's Core i5 6600K, and the Core i7 6700K. And I really like the new SKUs here. It's like we're going back to Sandy Bridge with they're
not new, but I like that they've reset back to having double zeros in there.
It's just so much easier to remember.
Because what was the cool. What are the Broadwell SKUs?
5775C.
Okay.
That's one of them.
I'm surprised you even, because it was going to take me a minute to be like, what? 50, like whatever.
I know
the
that
hell.
one. And then it's 5675C. I don't know. Maybe.
Now,
it's weird.
All right. So what else do we have that we know about this?
I mean, that's it.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Z170 boards are going to be what supports this. The socket is 1151.
Yeah.
So these are not backwards compatible. You cannot drop them into a Z97 board.
Don't do it.
The other thing I was gonna point out is that early pricing rumors for the 6000 series, so to speak, or the Skylake processors from Intel are pretty high.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor that like $400 for the 6700K, for example.
That's nuts.
Which is a pretty. I mean, you're what was it like a?
It's a good $50 more at least.
Like a. Gosh, why can't I remember the numbers?
47.
A 2600K.
Yeah.
With Skylake or with Sandy Bridge was 320-ish.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty significant bump in the base price, and it also makes it maybe even less competitive against your Haswell E offerings on the mainstream platform.
Yeah.
And that is something I will be very interested to see, is what kind of actual benefits you get as far as instructions per clock with Skylake, especially compared to Haswell E.
Right.
Because a lot of folks who are on the enthusiast platform who are like, I don't know, that might be interesting, but I got Haswell E, and maybe I'm good for another year and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to take Cannon Lake to unseat that. For example. Right. The other thing we're not sure about right now is what Intel's working as far as the next enthusiast platform.
Yeah.
Successor to Haswell E. Will there be a Skylake E? I don't know. Will it be compatible with X99? I don't know.
Find out next time on The Rumor Mill.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it whenever we find information about it, and we'll definitely discuss those rumors.
Yes.
On The Rumor Mill.
Indeed.
We're branding,
we
branding
really,
your segments.
I know, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
We really need a mixing board or like a soundboard with clips.
But hey, we have been improving.
Yes,
I wanted to point
panels.
out. I wanted to point out that there's panels on the lower.
If you scroll below the video player.
If you scroll down.
Yeah.
Kyle set those up today.
High res, motherfucker.
The images were sent to us like several months ago.
And I made 2 of them.
And Kyle made a couple of them, but a few of them were also sent to us.
I made our channel banners.
We also have MooBot right now. Cell, have you been using MooBot?
Oh, Johnson.
I
got a Johnson.
Kyle's got a Johnson.
Hold on. I got a Johnson. Who I get a Johnson to? Wilson. That almost rhymes with Johnson.
Wilson,
you're the man.
Wilson Johnson.
Wilson. Yeah, from Toronto. Thank you.
All right.
Bought a shirt.
And Cell, MooBot is in chat, so you should use MooBot for things.
MooBot.
Oh wait, I'm not logged in.
All right. Here we go. What were we talking about?
MooBots and Johnsons.
All right. So should we move on to the next rumor in the rumor mill?
MooBot.
Shall we?
I don't know what MooBot does, but I know I can type exclamation point MooBot, and then MooBot
it does something?
will respond to me. That means I've done something. I'm so bad at Twitch.
It's the extent of our relationship with MooBot.
I'm terrible at Twitch.
Me
my
too.
channel isn't linked.
What?
My channel's not linked. You didn't put a link for my channel.
I did.
Then how come when you mouse over your channel, it links conveniently to Awesome Sauce
That's
Network?
Bullshit.
When you mouse over,
I'm doing it right now.
Kyle's fixing that immediately. Thank you for pointing that out in chat. Kyle is clearly trying to sabotage my channel.
I'm talking about it's been linked this whole time. If you click
it's there.
if you click it right
100%,
now,
100%
it'll go. I swear
Let me
to
just
God.
refresh. Gonna double check that.
Oh,
you're,
yeah.
You're right. Kyle fixed it.
Here
Yay!
we go. Yep.
Good job, Kyle.
No one was looking at those ugly ass banners anyway.
All right. Those are good banners. Those are fan-provided banners.
Yes.
Although,
They're much
who
appreciated.
sent them though?
I don't know. If you're in chat, wait. Mine goes to a broken link. The hell? Oh, I put YouTube with 2 U's. God damn it.
That should resolve. That should totally resolve.
When is the internet just going to autocorrect
See,
everything?
100,000 subscribers have gone to your head, clearly, Kyle.
I don't need you.
Everyone's pointing out.
All right, here we go.
Kyle's
the glory and fame of
fixing that right now.
Of the
All right, that should be better now.
All right.
I'm glad we pointed that out to people because we have no QA at all. You guys are our QA.
All right, so let's go on to the next rumor, which is about the Reddit stuff. So Paul talked a little bit about this. You've already talked about all this shit, but you were talking about the situation that Reddit's been going through, and we did a little sword fight on it. Moderators and the site in general are angry at Reddit, the Reddit staff and executives, for firing, what's her name? Victoria Taylor, who was a big organizer and a huge proponent of the community at Reddit. She was the one who organized the popular IMA or AMA segment and other notable things.
IMA, this thing, ask me
IMA,
anything.
ask me anything, right?
Yes.
So she got fired and there was no explanation given. So people got pissed off and started blacking out, moderators started blacking out or disabling the subreddits that they were mods for. So basically what you saw was you'd go to like the subreddit for music or science and they would be completely just HTML 404. So like half the site was down essentially, and it just obviously hurts the website a lot. So it's this huge controversial thing. And still, we don't know why Victoria Taylor was fired. But there are some rumors in the rumor mill.
No, that's why this is called the rumor mill.
Are you okay?
Excuse me. I'm fine. I was just joking on my
Don't die on me.
throat tissue or something.
I
don't know what's going on in there.
That's terrible.
It's okay.
But basically, some people are saying that a lot of the people on Reddit are also speculating that Taylor might have been fired because she had a different creative direction for the website. Also, as a lot of you know, like Reddit is becoming more and more commercialized in a way. Because by nature, it's not a profitable website. It's not a profitable website. It doesn't turn a profit. And a lot of the executives are now trying to implement more ads, and they're trying to find ways to squeeze more dollars out of the site's massive popularity. And Taylor seems like one of the people that's just like, no, you're breaking up the site of, like, you're breaking up what makes the site good. People don't come here for the ads. People are going to start leaving. That's not what the community is about. It's just for the fan. It's just for the internet in general. So that could mean that they were butting heads at some point, so much to the point where they were like, let's just find someone who will be our puppet and will listen to what we say and will allow us to carry out our advertising and marketing goals without too much hassle or opposition. So I don't know. It seems like a fair rumor to me. Obviously, it's all rumor and speculation, but that's why it's in the rumor mill.
Yes, and if you guys are interested on my half of the show, we did
Reddit, good or bad?
We decided definitively whether Reddit should survive or not, and I'm not going to tell you the result.
Yeah,
you guys have to watch my half of the show.
Keep it sneaky.
I will say that there's clearly a lot of flack and a lot of negativity that comes along with the attempt to commercialize the site more and to make more money out of the site.
Yeah.
And I think that's what a lot of this boils down to, is commercializing things. Reddit's a type of site where you can look at and be like, it has so much traffic.
Yeah.
And if you compare the amount of traffic Reddit gets to the amount of money they make, compared to other sites that are more like commercialized, then they're not really living up. And I think that's probably what it boiled down to, is they're saying, we have this many people coming to the site, we don't make as much money as we should be for the amount of traffic and the amount of eyeballs we have looking at it, and looking at other ways to do that. Now, I think they can do that. I think there's ways that they can go about making more money from Reddit without necessarily pissing off their user base.
Right.
But I think there's some stuff going on behind the scenes here that people aren't fully aware of, and that's usually the case when it comes to like conflicts and upper managements at high profile websites or that kind of thing. So I don't think either of us are hoping that Reddit dies. I think we're all hoping Reddit maintains the amount of kind of it's the amount of people who go there who scrutinize the content, who I think make the content good. And the upvoting and downvoting system that has kept that going well as possible. So, I think all of us are pulling for Reddit to some degree, but we want to see them maintain a leadership that can keep things in line and keep things positive for the community. Yeah,
I think it'll bounce back. I'm pretty confident. I think that there are still a large amount of people that use the site in light of this situation. Just because they're aware and they know all the good things that can come of the site.
Yep.
It can be a great resource for information and stuff like that. Yep. So moving on, we're going to talk about our last rumor today in the rumor mill.
We have another rumor,
which is not quite related to tech, but it is related to child pornography.
You had it out.
What? I didn't know how else to start it. This is the first thing that came to mind.
There's probably a tactful way to introduce this.
No, I have no tact.
No.
Tact goes out
Zero.
the window. Screw that.
Or some like outside way to coordinate. I don't know.
Good old child prompt.
It's all right, Kyle. Explain this.
All right, whatever. This just caught my eye, and I'm sorry it's on Fox News, but they had a video, so I was like, screw it. Jared from Subway, the Subway spokesperson.
This is so choppy.
Oh my God.
Why is this so choppy?
What the hell?
I don't know. I'm not playing audio anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Anyway, the spokesperson for Subway, Jared, the guy who lost like 200 pounds or whatever from eating Subway sandwiches like 15 years ago, however long that was.
Is that him?
No, that is not him. Damn. Whatever sandwiches.
He looks different in the FBI photos. No, that's somebody else.
Whatever footlongs he's been eating, do not eat those ones. That's not him. But his house got raided for under suspect that there was some tie-in with child pornography. Now I don't think he's been arrested, and I don't think he's suspected of anything child pornography related, but he might be. The reason why they raided his house was to confiscate a bunch of electronics like computers and and hard drives and shit like
So
that.
see, it's technology related.
It's technology related.
That's why we're
You know, they were
discussing
probably
it.
like 3.5-inch mechanical drives from Seagate or WD, but they might have had child porn on them, which you know, doesn't look very good for WD or Seagate. But that's okay, because you know, it's like guns. You know, guns don't kill people.
Oh.
People kill people.
Oh, the chat has devolved. You bring up a topic like this, everything just goes.
That's why
right
I brought
down
it up, because it sparks conversation, and it's like there's a million ways you can make fun of it. But so basically, here's a little bit of backstory. There was like an executive. Okay, so Jared, this guy who got millions of dollars for his endorsement of Subway.
You must assume, yes.
He started a Jared Foundation,
Okay.
which is like to combat child obesity. And one of the executives that was under his wing at this I know. You can make so many correlations and so many connections. Like
when you combat child obesity,
they just come to
they
you.
get so slim and attractive.
We're here. We're in the business of making your kid hot.
I'm terrible.
You are a terrible
Why
person.
did I? No. Why are you making me think these terrible things, Kyle?
Oh, your kid looks good now. All right. So anyway, one of the executives got arrested. One of his executives that Jared hired
slim and athletic.
got so much potential.
This is not a funny subject. We're not joking about this.
Never grow up, little boy.
Okay.
Never grow up. All right. It's like Peter Pan. Paul has officially left the building.
See, I told you not to bring this.
How could I not?
I am going to hell. You are right.
Yes, you
You
are.
are right.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
All right. So one of the executives did get arrested. I think it was this year or last year for possession and maybe even trafficking of child pornography.
That's terrible.
After he got arrested, he attempted suicide, did not succeed, and they managed to get him back in a jail cell before he could.
I hope he's suffering from terrible depression. It's like, I'm a pedophile and I can't even
kill myself.
I can't even kill myself.
I'm incompetent too.
Yeah, screw that guy anyway, because he doesn't deserve.
Screw that guy before he screws
my
a kid.
God.
I swear to God. So there might be some involvement. I don't know. It's rumors in the rumor mill. Is Jared a pedophile? I don't know. Maybe.
Well, so can we expect pedophilia to be a theme of the rumor mill segment from?
I think pedophilia will always be a part of the rumor
God,
mill.
that was awful.
You know, pedophilia.
That was awful. No, don't be disappointed with me.
Spread the word.
Kyle brought this up. I was only...
No, but you are the bad man. See,
I was just. If you show me point A and point C, I'll make the connection between the two of them. That's all I'm.
Is Paul a trafficker of child pornography? Find out next time on The Rumor Mill.
All right.
All right. So, I don't know.
Good Lord.
Jared, don't mess with kids.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird though. Yeah.
I would not want to be on Subway's damage control team right now.
No.
Yeah.
And obviously Subway's like, "Whoa, we're so surprised."
Show me on the doll.
I can't believe it. Show me on the doll.
Show me on the doll where he touched you.
Where did Paul touch you?
No.
Yeah.
I did not.
What if the feds just bust in right now and
Only-
like, Paul, get on the ground, Paul, Kyle, you're good. Paul, get on the
Kyle, you're
ground.
okay. Is that Kyle? You're right. We didn't mean to upset you. I'm sorry. We just.
Did he touch you? Show us on the doll. It's over.
All right.
Anyway, thought I'd throw that gem in there
That was
for all you lovelies.
a great, appropriate thing to discuss.
Yes, it was. Totally relevant to
Alright.
the show. Let's move on to Pimp My PC.
Kyle, you're good.
Kyle, you're good. Love it. Thank you, Yetso, for that one. So Pimp My PC, the blatant ripoff segment, stolen straight from the hands of Matt Philly, who does the Pimp My Setup show on Swashin' TV. You can look him up on YouTube. He does a really good show. Paul and I have both been special guests on his show. It's such a good show that we decided to steal it. But instead of setups and desk setups and man caves, we're doing PCs, because that's what we do. So the first one I think we've got from Glenn. He wasn't able to join us for the show. He said he had criers and whatnot, but he did send in his picture and managed to get it in just in time, and he shows us his Silent Base 800.
That is a Be Quiet Silent Base 800 case right there.
Yes, you actually did a recent build in this one.
It's a good case. I like it.
I like it too. It is silent.
Particularly with the included fans
Mm-hmm.
and a reasonable fan control mechanism.
Yeah.
Like, it's really quiet. I was quite impressed.
I hope the new one that they're doing includes a fan hub on the back or something like that. That'd be pretty sweet.
So they have an SB600 coming out, which is a kind of cut down version of this. It's still got the same general structure.
Yeah.
It's still full ATX, but my guess would be for a cut down version that would probably be one of the cut areas would be the fan hub.
Right.
But anyway, let's move on here.
Very good. All right, so what do we got here? We've got an MSI.
We have orange cable extensions.
Yeah. Oh, they almost look gold.
No, those gotta be
the
orange.
lighting. It's the lighting.
Yeah, they're orange.
You're right. Yeah. All right, so that's cool. I like how you've done orange cabling. That's actually very good. Good job.
In fact, something I've
never seen. I don't think I've ever really seen orange cables that much. Unless it's like a custom PC from Lee or something like that. Like, I've never seen... I don't know if you custom sleeve these or if these are extensions.
They're definitely extensions, but I don't know if they're custom sleeved extensions or if they're something that he picked up from somewhere.
They don't look like... They look like he bought them somewhere.
Yeah.
But they do look really nice.
Yeah.
They look good. And your cable management isn't terrible all the way across the board. I think there is some room for improvement. The cables that are coming from the top of your ATX pin, like I think that's not a fan cable, is it? But it looks pretty thick for a fan cable.
Look at this picture here. Does this seem weird to you? Just, I mean, from like a Pablo Picasso kind of view, like this. Look at the fan. Doesn't the fan seem like it's angled out towards us more so than it should be?
Angled out toward... Well, that might be the forced perspective of the lens.
Yeah, I think it's the lens or
something. It could be the lens, I think. Anyway. That happens sometimes. But cable management, tidy up the top area. The bottom looks pretty good. Although I don't know why you have some of the cables running through the grommet that's further away from the power supply. Like some of the cables here, they're going to the further grommet. You could probably route those to the one that's closest. I feel like all the power supply cables should go directly into that grommet and just zip tie them as tight as you can to just eliminate any kind of clutter down there.
Or like, what's wrong with the orange grommets? Like right here.
What's wrong with them?
He's using the spacing because his motherboard isn't as wide.
Oh, yeah.
So he's actually routing the power supply cables through the CPU cutout.
Yeah. And they would look a little cleaner in the orange
Yeah,
grommet.
Just go through that orange grommet because, I mean...
You don't have to travel very far to get there. I mean, you're pretty much already there.
Yeah.
And also the same with the PCIe cables. I think he's going around the back of the motherboard tray instead of using the grommets.
Yeah.
You paid for those grommets. Use them. It's okay.
Yeah. And like, look here. There's tons of space back here. Like you have no want for space in the background.
Right.
I will say my experience with the Be Quiet power supplies, which you do have here, a Be Quiet Pure Power.
I love them.
They're very good power supplies. The cabling is not. I mean, I will say my cabling, my cable sleeving experience has made me much more critical of power supplies. Well, to a certain extent, because I mean, there's only a certain amount of things you can say about a power supply when it comes to like, oh, it's 80 plus gold, and it provides X amount of wattage, and maybe it's modular or non-modular.
Yeah.
But this has made me much more critical of certain things about a power supply. Is like, if you wanted to sleeve this in the future, what would your options be?
Yeah.
And
what's the best power supply to sleeve?
I will say that the sleeving on the Be Quiet power supplies that I've worked with is not the best, but you've gotten around it here with the extensions that you're using.
Yeah.
So good job there. But I think rerouting some of those might clean things up a little bit.
Yeah.
The only other thing is like, what is this, a B75-V motherboard, P8 B75-V. Right? Your you've got one of those Asus light blue motherboards.
Yeah.
And that sticks out to me as the main component here that doesn't match up. So maybe if you're looking at an upgrade in the future, like a motherboard CPU memory swap or something like that, That would be the thing I would do if aesthetics are your concern.
Yeah.
But yeah, a very nice build overall. I bet it's nice and quiet.
Yeah, I'm sure it is too. Thank you, Glenn.
All right.
Appreciate that. Glenn. Next one's from Andrew. He sends in his rig, which is it's an NZXT case. The 450? No, that's the. I forget the name of it.
Phantom. Is that the Phantom?
Phantom.
630.
630.
I want to say Phantom 630.
No, it's the Phantom 410.
Oh, it's 410.
I think it's the 410. So you've got some pretty nice LEDs in here. I love the color scheme. The power supply is off, obviously. It's not a huge deal, especially since you probably can't see it through the window all that well. But I kind of love how you color coordinated everything else. This looks a little cramped to me. I'll say it right now. Your video cards barely fit, and they're sagging quite a bit. And that rhymed, so it must be true.
There is some evident GPU sag here, but how might he combat that?
Honestly, I think, well, they have brackets that you can buy. It basically, you install it in the PCI slot above your video card, and it kind of just like attaches to like the backplate or the PCB area.
Yeah.
And it hoists it. I've never used one personally, so I can't speak on their performance or how well they work. But I feel like that's a better solution than like putting a bottle cap underneath it or something, which I'm sure we would never see someone do.
Maybe are you giving a little forward-looking like tease towards later in the My PC segment, Kyle?
Nope.
All right, so here's what I would suggest for an immediate method of possibly combating that GPU sag. All right, so
put it upside down.
Your power supply here, again, only strictly speaking about aesthetics, because a TX750M from Corsair is a perfectly fine power supply.
Yeah.
A very good power supply, actually, when it comes to the internals, but only speaking of aesthetics, that is, I think, your biggest aesthetic detractor here, because you have not only a pretty ugly 24-pin cable, but also some of those cables go into the your drives, for example.
Are those 670s, by the way?
Sticking out to me. What?
Are those six? Oh, they're 770s. Okay.
770s. If you want an immediate way of combating the GPU sag without doing anything, or without adding anything to this, consider rerouting your cables.
Yeah.
Excuse me, your PCI Express cables. If you brought them up from here, so like, you know what I'm saying? From where they come out of the graphics card, bring them up to a grommet above them.
Yeah.
With both of them, you could possibly bring that up and then cinch the cables back behind your motherboard tray and possibly bring both of those graphics cards up. And that might look cleaner, and it might give those a much more, like, you know, the perpendicular look which you want. Because GPU sag is it's really evident when you're looking at a system from the side. And that was the first thing that stood out to me about this one.
But you know, he could probably benefit from upgrading his power supply to something a bit more substantial than a 750 watt. Because he's got two GTX 770s in there. I mean, he looks like an enthusiast based on the build. He's probably doing some overclocking. I mean, he's got a 240 radiator on his CPU. He's probably overclocking that. I hope you are. Otherwise, I don't know why you get a CPU cooler like that. So, with all that combined, I mean, I just looked it up. GTX 770's TDP of 230 watts.
Yep.
You're overclocking both of those plus a CPU. I would probably recommend above 750. Maybe 850, you'd be okay. But
yeah, so maybe I would say, like, actually, the power supply I've worked with recently that just aesthetically out of the box I was most impressed with was Bitphoenix, their Fury line of power supplies. They have a 750 watt. Now again, this is only from the aesthetic perspective, because there's nothing wrong functionally with a TX750M from Corsair. And it's fully modular, and it's a good power supply. But swapping that out with the Bitphoenix, which comes fully sleeved, which is also, I think the 750 watt is blue, has a blue accent on the side. That would give you a blue color scheme to go with the rest of this, and it would solve most of your aesthetic issues when it comes to the stuff that's standing out to us here.
But I'm saying he might benefit from having more than 750 watts.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a good thing as well.
If you're not overclocking,
I think there's an
then you're fine.
850 watt version of that as well.
Yeah.
But again, nice build.
It's pretty.
Yeah, I mean, it's
a pretty build.
Your motherboard matched with the blue LEDs, I think works really well.
Yeah, good choice on the RAM.
And I like that. I like that it's a full system. I like that it doesn't
Me too.
seem. I don't know. Some systems where everything's in there, but it seems like there's a lot of empty space.
Mm-hmm.
This one, it feels like everything. The space is used.
It meshes.
It's either space that is used or space that is used for better airflow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. That was Andrew. Appreciate you sending that in. Let's move on to Lance. Lance sends us his Cooler Master case with a Corsair cooler. I don't know what Corsair cooler that is. I don't remember a Corsair cooler other than the H100. The original H100 that has those corrugated tubing thingies. Unless he swapped it.
That was an older one.
It's an older one before that?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it's on a 120.
It's a 120 for sure, or maybe a 140.
That was like before I got into computers.
No, it wasn't that long ago.
No? Oh, okay.
Um,
So it's not that old. But altogether, this works. Functionally, this looks really good. I don't see any red flags as far as like having your system perform well and not overheating. I think you could make some optimizations if you really wanted to tidy things up. Like kind of hiding that SATA data cable that's hanging from your optical drive up there. I think there might be a better way to route that so that not so much of the cable is being exposed. Also, I don't know how I feel about having those two just regular black fans there and then having a really bright LED green fan right next to it. I just feel like it doesn't tie the system together.
yeah.
And I find myself looking at that fan in that area of the case where not really much is going on, more than the back of your case towards the rear where you've got your CPU and your nice water block there. So maybe you can exchange those black fans for the same green LED fan that you have on your radiator, because I think that would look a lot nicer and it would kind of kind of make you look at the whole thing a little bit more cohesively. But
I'm like
What are you
obsessing over what
cooler?
CPU cooler that is, because a Corsair. I've seen Cooler Master ones with that type of. There's also a name for that tubing that has the loops around it.
Someone said, Smachimo said definitely a H60 or H55, but they don't have those tubes, do they?
I'm looking.
H55?
See, the H60 has those tubes,
But it's not a circular block.
Not the same circular block. Maybe it was an earlier version of the H60.
Huh.
Heh.
Interesting. But at any rate, the fans I'd suggest. I think you've got a nice theme going here. I like the black and green. There aren't too many colors that stand out to me as not fitting in, other than your maybe some of your cables actually. Your ATX 24-pin and your PCIe cables. Obviously, you're using the stock cables that came with your power supply.
It's an H70.
H70. Okay.
Thank you to Metal JNC for pointing that out. Metal JNC. Thanks for pointing that out, man.
All right. H70. All right.
Corsair has too many liquid coolers.
Yeah, they have a crap ton. I can't keep track of them all.
Anyway, all right. So I agree with your comments so far, Kyle.
Yeah.
And this could use a fair amount of cable management going on here. It looks like you've got a lot out here in the main chamber that could be brought back behind.
Yeah.
I will also say, and it's difficult since we don't have a picture with the side panel on, but the LEDs seem a little bit more visible down here at the bottom than I would like. I don't
Might
know.
be the only place he's got.
Yeah, I mean, if that's all you've got, then maybe that's okay. But I don't like to look directly at an LED. I like to see the LED shining on something else.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Thanks, Lance. Appreciate it. Next up, we got Michael. Michael System.
Mustard Tiger 16.
Mustard Tiger.
That's a good name.
I wonder how some people make up these names. This is ridiculous. I mean, it kind of cracks me up. I was laughing my ass off the first time I saw this. So, earlier we saw a system that had a bunch of GPU sag, and it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
This one has also suffers from GPU sag, but Michael has found a way to prevent it to some degree.
He has.
With a very unique and creative method, I might add. What I'm seeing here is he's got a nice big sapphire custom card there, and he's holding it up via a giant dice and what looks to be a bottle cap. Interesting. And you've also got another bottle cap at the front of the card, right on top of the drive cage, or it looks like a bottle cap at least. It doesn't look like it belongs there.
Over here, yeah.
But, I mean, interesting. It's kind of interesting to see what people use to prop up their GPUs.
I've also discovered a weird thing, is that where my pointer is over here is not where my pointer is.
I was just about to say, I was like, what are you pointing?
It's very strange. Right? Like,
yeah.
See, I'm pointing at the die right here, but it's pointing at the cables down here.
That's so strange.
So I can look down here to still point at things. Alright, so there's the dice with the bottle cap, and there's another bit of support on the end of the GPU.
I mean, functionally, there's nothing wrong with that. It looks hilarious. And...
Well, I mean, if the idea is to prop up your graphics card because it looks bad because it's sagging, but the method that you're using to prop up your graphics card
bad, if not
draws more attention than the graphics card sagging in the first place, then what kind of benefit are you really getting to yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, you are extending that GPU all the way into your drive cages, and there might be something to be said to keeping that propped up in there and to keep it from physically metal on metal rubbing up against something.
Right.
Whether it's to protect the finish on the graphics card or, I mean, probably wouldn't really affect the performance or shorting or anything like that, but yeah. Also, we're getting some comments in chat, Kyle, that this Roswell power supply is not even...
I know. I was going to point that out.
Okay.
I didn't even see the chat, but I was like, what's up with this power supply? I did see in chat that he has no PCI brackets. But yeah, what's with the power supply, man?
That
should be fixed to the case, for sure. This just gets more and more interesting.
What? There's no rear PCI slot. There's no expansion slot adapters at all.
There's no that whole unit. He doesn't have a back. He doesn't have a back.
This entire thing is gone.
The back of his case is completely gone. That's why he has a dice.
I am glad you chose this. So yeah, the dice is the only thing holding that power supply from just falling down and probably out of the slot.
Holy shit!
That's impressive.
I mean,
that is a functional.
You've worked with what you have, which is not much.
Now, another thing to point out here is going to be that your heatsink fan here for your CPU would be much better oriented vertically than horizontally.
Yeah.
If you're space limited by that, and if you flipped it 90 degrees, it would conflict with the graphics card. Then you're okay. You're okay where you're at, because it's drawing air up, which is better.
But
as long as it's going up or it's going back towards the rear exhaust, then you're like okay.
But truth be told, you look at this card, and this case is not worthy to hold that card.
Yeah.
I think this is like a $40 Sente case or something.
That's a much nicer GPU. Also, this power supply, I can't tell, it's a Roswell green. What is Roswell green? Roswell
it's power efficient.
Roswell has too many different series.
Probably comes in like one of those recyclable boxes. But
can we zoom in, enhance? Zoom in, enhance.
Enhance. But this scares me now, because now that I know that dice is the only thing holding up that big-ass graphics card, it's not like a freaking little 650 Ti or something. That's a massive card with a heavy cooler. And you have no other support on the back of the case at all. And it's just that dice. And it's on a bottle cap. It's like the most unsafe-looking thing I've ever seen to prop up a video card. So get a new case.
Yeah, get a new case.
Get a new case. I'm surprised it took us that long to get to that point.
I'm glad you chose this one, though.
Yeah, me too.
Michael, thanks for sending this.
Yeah, it's been fun.
I'm tired of seeing systems that are like, everything's perfect here. There's like maybe a tiny little touch you could do here, there, but...
We're just grasping at that point.
That was
all
beautiful.
right. Thanks, Michael. That was fun. Moving on to Kichi Boy. Kichi Boy? Tom Kichwan?
Kichi boy?
He said he's been posting his picture for weeks and we haven't chosen it. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Kichi boy.
There's so many applicants, so many entries, but here's another example of a system I don't have much to say about. And that's probably why I didn't choose you for so long. It's really clean, man. Your cable management's spot on. Even your ketchup mustard cables that I hate so much seem to match the rest of the color scheme of your build with the yellow power supply and the red graphics card and even the fan on the back.
That is very true.
The RAM. I still don't like red and yellow combination. It's still ketchup and mustard at the end of the day. So swap out the power supply, preferably with one with black sleeve cables or red sleeve cables, but really EVGA is one of the few ones that you can do that with. And that way you'll have a white, black, and red color scheme, and you won't have any yellow. And I think that'll look really nice. Throw some red LEDs.
Real quick,
Yeah.
for the last build,
Yes.
people are pointing out that the RAM configuration was also all wrong.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
I'm very curious.
Wait,
now.
I don't want to dwell on that any
right.
longer though.
Okay.
Sabertooth Z77 though, great motherboard.
Yes,
I
absolutely.
did
The
some work
hardware's
with that
there,
one.
and I think that's a DCU2 Asus Mini.
Mini 670 perhaps.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Which,
That's a nice card.
yeah, I will say anytime you can make the yellow and red cables seem like they match is a win.
Yeah.
And then the cooler is the one thing that seems a little bit more
Underpowered, maybe.
low ends to me, I guess. That is a cooler. I've seen that cooler before.
Is it?
I want to say it's
cooling?
an Arctic Cool, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
can
that
see
one,
the
and I'm
logo.
sure it works just fine.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing that stands out to me is like it seems lower budget than the rest, just because you've got like the exposed copper, you've got
Yeah.
that sticker on the outside of it that just
Looks very
doesn't
budget.
doesn't do much for anyone.
And you've got a nice
Um,
system. Everything else is nice. Remove that drive cage that you're not using at all. Just store it
Yep,
somewhere.
you can pull that out.
You got front fans there, so use them. And that's it. Thanks, Kichi boy.
Yeah, nice build though.
Yeah, very solid. Last one comes from Patrick.
Good old Patrick.
Good old Piat.
Oh, it's Patrick.
Good old Pat.
Belingit.
Like, we're acting like we know him personally.
What?
I'm sure he's a great guy. But he's got a computer with
He
stuff
does.
in it. Yeah, being really descriptive now. I think this has potential. I think this is another case of you need a new case.
New
I don't
case,
know.
you think here?
I mean, you probably don't, but if you wanted to so-called pimp out your PC, I would opt for a better case. It's a really bare bones case.
What's wrong with the case?
There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying it's not very pimp. There's no grommets.
It's not very pimp, but like a good case doesn't have to be pimp. And granted, like a really nice case would be like, wow,
what's the name of the show
it's
again?
pimp my PC.
Oh.
But
Oh.
if you'd let me finish my goddamn sentence, I would point out to you.
Won't matter anyway.
Granted, a nice case you'd look at and be like, wow, that's a really nice case that stands out. But a good case can still just be there and blend in and get the job done, and everything else can stand out. And I think this case, I mean, like, I don't see what's necessarily all that wrong with it. It looks like you've got cable management behind the motherboard tray. You've got a black painted interior. You've got toolless mounting mechanisms. You've got drive cages that are configurable enough to remove something and get some direct airflow back there. Like, what's...
Here's what I'll tell you what's wrong with this situation. Is
Okay.
that in this case, his board suffers from board dwarfism.
So the board's too small.
The board is too small for the case.
Okay.
And it looks like your cables going into the grommets or into the cutouts in your motherboard tray are a bit far away from your motherboard itself. It looks like, especially like your PCIe cable for your graphics card, is to stretch quite a ways, and you can even see the standoffs that aren't being used
Actually,
for that
yeah.
wider motherboard.
So
that's one reason I'd say.
So this is one of your truncated ATX motherboards. It is
Yeah.
not small enough to be micro ATX,
Mhm.
but they have shortened the width of it,
It's a thin...
which means it doesn't come out to meet those last three motherboard standoffs that you might be able to see
Yeah.
here
Who's a...
and here
Asus.
and here,
Asus board.
which I agree. It would look more complete if it went out to there, and then your cables going into the cable pass-throughs would make more sense.
Yeah, but everything else looks really good. I like that you've made the effort to swap out whatever fans were in here for those Corsair AF fans. And the SP fan that's probably on your...
Somebody's saying that the CPU fan is held on with cable ties. I don't think that's the case. The CPU fan, this looks like a Sigmatech actually, kind of like a Dark Knight, the way the fan is actually mounted. But the fan's mounted via some rubber plugs that stick into the fan itself, and then those kind of pop into the side of the fin arrays right up here.
I thought the Dark Knight was black.
The Dark Knight is black. I'm saying the fan mount is similar to the Dark Knight.
Oh yeah.
This might even be a Sigmatech CPU cooler, just not the Dark Knight that has that black finish. The top of the fan here, the cabling is pulled back, and I don't know how this is secured up top here, but that looks a little awkward.
Right.
Just slightly. If you rotated that fan 90 degrees, you could have that cable coming out towards the motherboard side.
You wouldn't even see it.
And you could tuck that away a lot better. So that'd be something to consider. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you're working with some more budget-oriented parts here.
Right.
Typically, those shorter motherboards are less expensive. They're less expensive to manufacture. That's part of the reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, that not lining up. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but yeah, I mean, if it was a full-size ATX motherboard, that would line up a bit better. But I will say, if the solution here is swapping the case out, that's not really going to solve that. If you have another full-size ATX motherboard case, you're still going to have a smaller size motherboard in a case that seems a little bit bigger. I don't know of any cases that are made for those. Yeah, maybe swap another motherboard or anything.
Yeah,
That's also looks like maybe a P67 motherboard.
Possibly.
Since it's a blue Asus motherboard.
Yes.
Or a Z77? Was the Z77 one's blue? I forget.
I don't think it's Z77.
I forget.
Probably older. But anyway, thank you, Patrick, for sending that in, and that's going to conclude Pimp My PC for today, guys. Thank you all for sending in your entries. We'll be possibly doing this again next week, so stay tuned for that. If you didn't get picked this week, we'll be doing this again many times more. So I think on that note, we're going to roll on to Q&A. We're going to wrap up this little segment. If you guys want to ask me or Paul any questions about anything tech-related, personal-related, whatever, what our favorite color is, let's just do like a little speed lightning round or whatever, and we can go ahead and fire off some answers.
Any questions?
Any questions to your heart's desire.
As long as they're not related to the Chrome conspiracy that I'm part of.
Or the Jared conspiracy.
Oh, wow.
Holy.
Hold on, I have to read this whole thing. Hey, Paul and Kyle, when you create your YouTube videos, after you're done with your videos, how do you store your media? Paul, have you thought about building a free NAS server, a Supermicro or a Xeon? Have you thought about reusing the HTPC 804 node case to build a free NAS ZFS file system, blah, blah. BlackPacer56, thank you for asking the question. This is a very long question. Yes, I'm going to build a new NAS soon. That's definitely on my to-do list, because having a centralized NAS is something that I don't actually have right now, and I need. Yes, I need it. So yeah. As far as using the Node 804, I don't know if I'll use that case necessarily, because the NAS, I mean, can be very small. I'll probably end up tucking it away somewhere where it won't be really visible. But yeah, I'm probably gonna do some ZFS stuff. I don't want to use RAID. I'm gonna use the newer file systems, and probably do a free NAS build or something like that. But I have a bunch of other stuff on my to-do list
How quickly do you fill up your storage and stuff when you're making videos and whatnot?
So right now, my primary storage array is 2 4-terabyte drives in RAID 1, and I'm over 3 terabytes used.
Yeah, and that was over the course of how long?
I mean, that includes all of my music.
Oh, wow.
And all of my... I mean, I have about 130 to 150 gigs of music.
Okay.
And then all the rest is mostly all of my video history, raw files. I still have all my RAWs and all that kind of stuff. So what I'm actually going to be doing soon, because I need to switch over to Arctic Panther, is I'm going to take my first 100 videos and archive them, take them off because those are still on there. And then I'm just going to be working with my 100 to 200, and I'm actually going to be moving into the 200 to 300 section soon, which is crazy to think I've made that many videos.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
But that's cool, though.
That's very cool. I need to get some bigger storage options myself pretty soon.
Yeah, but fortunately, I'm not short on hard drives. I do have lots of hard drives.
Yeah.
All right. Upgrading from 1080p, says Rich Joe 111. Should I get 1440 or go for 4K? I would say right now go for 4K. I mean, if you don't need to upgrade right now, wait for a 4K monitor that's at least 60 hertz that has either FreeSync or G-Sync. If not, well, nothing has both yet, but hopefully
one day
maybe something will have both at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, a 4K monitor that's above 60 hertz, that's IPS ideally, better color reproduction, and with either FreeSync or G-Sync, depending on what kind of graphics card you have, would be the monitor I would invest in right now.
Yeah.
I think 4K will stick around for a little while, because, I mean, everyone still hasn't even all moved up to 1080. But
yeah.
4K seems the next logical jump to 1080, 4K, and then who knows what the heck will happen after that.
Right. I think maybe next year would be a good time to wait for a 4K monitor too.
Yeah.
Because things are happening so fast right now with monitors that you could buy one and then a couple months later there's like something way better, or like you have way more options at that point. It's just like we've never seen an influx of monitor technology happen so quickly, I think, especially with all these variable frame rate, variable refresh rate technologies from AMD and NVIDIA. So I don't know. Me personally, if I were to buy a 4K monitor myself, I'd wait for maybe early to mid next year and just see what the options are, and then you'll also be able to see maybe have a hint of like what kind of performance Pascal or AMD's cards are going to be able to put out, and you'll be able to see like what kind of performance you can expect on 4K at 4K. So this is a good moment where you should wait. I think.
Patience is definitely very helpful when it comes to PC components, and you'll always be able to get something newer and maybe less expensive, one or the other or both. So yeah, it might be early to jump into the 4K market because I think there's still newer stuff coming out that might have more features, but still that same resolution. A big guy asks, and I wanted to bring this up specifically.
Okay.
Will Kyle do a 100K subscriber contest giveaway like Paul did? If you guys don't remember, I gave away an entire computer. Full. Okay. Well then. I was about to be like, what are you going to give away, Kyle? You're doing a giveaway?
I will be, yes.
Okay. All right,
yes.
well, that's exciting.
Soon. I still have to gather all the parts for it. No!
No?
It's not going to be the wall-mounted
PC.
It's not the console killer.
Because it's just sitting there right now.
You stop it. I use it never, but I will use it one day.
It looks pretty.
It looks pretty. It's eye candy.
But you're doing it. You got a giveaway lined up?
Yeah, actually,
nice.
Heather, my fiance, is pretty upset because I got a case recently, and she's like, "Oh, I really want that." I was like, "Yeah, I'll totally gut out your system and put it in this case." And then I was like, "Actually, it'd be pretty good for a giveaway." And now she's like, "What?" So now I have to see if I can get a second one for her. But if she likes it, she's not really even too into tech. You guys will definitely like it. So stay tuned for that. Should be a fun giveaway.
All right.
Yeah. Someone else asks, how many PCs have you built in your lifetime? From EAXQ. I don't know how to pronounce that. EAXQ. How many PCs have you built in your lifetime?
I couldn't say exactly.
I couldn't even give you a ballpark. I mean, you probably even less than me because you've been doing it for so much longer. But even in the, 4 years that I've been doing it,
I would say maybe, I think for me, it might be reasonable to say more than 100, less than 200. But honestly, that's a guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, if I had to give an answer.
Yeah.
And I could give that wide of a range.
Yeah.
That'd be about where I stand, I think.
Damn, I think, I mean, I could break it down by year, maybe a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I build, 6 systems a year. So 6 times 4. Maybe build 24 to 30 systems. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Storks Tech asks, would you like to see the G1 gaming cooler for the 980 Ti used in the Fury card?
Meh.
Huh.
I always like seeing new coolers that I haven't seen before.
Yeah.
So if they would do something special for Fury, I would be all for it.
And chances are, if Gigabyte has done some investment in developing the G1 gaming cooler, and they can then apply that to something else, that they might do that. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Gigabyte Fury card looks very similar to their other cards.
Yeah.
Because they like to keep that family together as well. Even though it might be an AMD or an NVIDIA, on the Gigabyte side, for Gigabyte, it's like it's a Gigabyte graphics card.
Right.
So they might be sticking with something similar when it comes to the design of the heatsink fan.
Yeah. All right, should we do one more maybe?
Okay.
All right, what do we got here?
What do you do? No NAS build?
Oh, nice build.
All right, Larry Tech 7 asks, going to QuakeCon, bringing PC on plane, tips, check in or carry on? Ooh. All right.
Depends on your PC.
So yeah, it would depend very much on your PC. I'm assuming you're talking a full desktop. Because
yeah,
if you're asking about this, chances are you're not dealing with a laptop.
Yeah.
I would definitely, if you can, carry it on. If you can keep that thing within your possession, so you're the only one handling it the whole time, then you'll be good.
Yeah.
But depending on the size of it, you might not be able to fit in an overhead storage, for example, that kind of thing.
Right.
If you have to check it,
take some shit out.
Pull some stuff out of there.
Video card.
If you have a liquid cooler with a radiator that's mounted, you're probably okay with that.
Yeah.
If you have an air cooler, pull that out.
Yeah.
Like especially a tower style or one of those. Graphics cards, pull those out. Other than that, you should mostly be okay. I have gotten away with taking a graphics card, pulling it out, wrapping it with some plastic bubble wrap, and then zip tying it to the inside of the case to transport it. I did that when I was shipping a system to somebody on the East Coast, and that worked out good. Just don't rely on the graphics card inside the case not bouncing around enough to either break the graphics card connector or the connector on the motherboard side.
It's way too risky.
There's a very good chance you might lose something like that, especially with airport luggage handlers, you know, the tossers or whatever they're called.
Yeah. And if you're bringing a monitor, I would try to make that a carry-on.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could find like a big backpack that fits larger laptops, and you're not bringing a laptop, try to fit the monitor in there. I mean, you can pack the stand in your check-in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But try to carry on the monitor, because those are, unless you've got like a crap ton of bubble wrap and it's the only thing that you're putting in with your suitcase, don't try to wrap it in clothes, because we've tried to do that once, I think, for Newegg.
Yeah,
we
brought a system to PAX
right.
East, which is in Boston, and we got everything there. The system was fine, and the carry-on, which was a suitcase with a monitor inside, was okay. On the way back, they wouldn't let them. I went back separately, so I wasn't there, but they wouldn't let them carry on the monitor. They forced them to check it. Yeah. And as a result, it got tossed, banged on the corner, and so the monitor glass, LCD got shattered, and it was just it was a loss after that, which was disappointing. Yeah. But anyway.
But good luck with that, and thank you all for watching. I think we're gonna wrap it up now. Paul and I are hungry. It's 9 o'clock Pacific time, our time, so we haven't even eaten dinner yet.
It's actually 8:17.
Oh, my laptop's wrong. It's only 8:17. I just gained an hour. Like in my head, I'm like, it's 9 o'clock already. I just gained an hour.
You should set your time properly.
I just went back in time.
It's okay though.
So we gotta go eat some dinners, and then once we get some noms, we're gonna come back and play some games on our respective Twitch channels. So you can check out Paul at Paul's Hardware, twitch.tv/Paul's Hardware, and mine at Awesome Sauce Network on Twitch as well. But thank you guys. You guys have been excellent in chat. Thank you for the moderators as well, and we will be back next week for another show at 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. Right here on twitch.tv/awesomehardware.
It'll be even better than today's.
It'll be magical.
We make it better every week.
That's right.
So you keep coming back.
That's right. So if you guys can join us, stick around for later. We're going to be playing some games. If not, we'll catch you next time.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.